Sergio, Andy Ruiz is back in action on Saturday for the first time since December of 2019. That was, of course, when Ruiz lost his heavyweight titles to Anthony Joshua. I had a chance to talk to Ruiz last week. He looks great. He sounds great. He told me he's down nearly 30 pounds from the Joshua fight. So I'll put it to you. Do you think that Andy Ruiz can be a top heavyweight once again?
Like they say in Mexico, si se puede. Yes, he can, and I believe he can be he is a top contender. He's ranked top 5 in 3 of the 4 organizations, but a heavyweight champion again. To win those belts again, he's gonna have to strike lightning in a bottle again, but he's with the right team and the motivation's there. The weight is not really what bothers me. He's always been a chubby kid with fast hands. Even before the Joshua fight, he was a fat kid. He didn't look like a heavyweight champion or even a contender. But you've seen him fight. You've seen the technique. You've seen how he fought small with the fast hands and exploded. He's definitely a top contender. And I just think everything's going in the right direction with the motivation of Canelo, Ryan Garcia, and the entire Eddie Reynoso camp for him to give it one last go and fight for a world title and hopefully, become a champion again, a 2-time champion. That'll be something special.
Look, at some point in the next year or so, the heavyweight titles are going to fracture once again, whether it's the WBO belt that we presume Alexander Usyk and Joe Joyce are going to fight for or something else. So I think Andy Ruiz is going to get a world title opportunity, and I think he absolutely can be a top heavyweight and a world champion once again. I mean, when you think about it, he's got 2 losses on his resume. He's lost to Joseph Parker in a razor-thin decision, and he lost to Anthony Joshua in a fight that he really didn't take all that seriously. Now, you say the weight's not a big issue, but when Andy Ruiz loses as much weight as he has, that tells me that Ruiz is taking his fights and his career seriously. And when he does that, all the other things you're talking about, the fast hands, the footwork, the things he has going, they come into play. So I think Andy Ruiz is in a great place. Now, I'll ask you this. Ruiz did make the change after the Joshua fight from Manny Robles to Eddie Reynoso. Sergio, you are always against trainer changes. You have been on the record about that numerous times. Not all trainer changes work out. Do you like this decision by Ruiz, and do you think Reynoso is the right guy?
Look, I'm a big fan of Manny Robles and his co-trainer in Edgar Hasso, and I think that's who got him there. Manny Robles is an excellent trainer, but Manny Robles couldn't get him disciplined. He had a discipline problem, Andy Ruiz Jr. He just needed to see what greatness, he wanted to train around greatness. Now he's doing it with Canelo, and they don't take no stuff at that A. Reynoso gym. I just think discipline was the problem. And when it comes to Manny Robles, he tried everything. If he couldn't do it in Saudi Arabia, when they were already there days before the fight and he was eating everything he wanted, nothing was going to stop Andy Ruiz from doing what he wanted to do. So discipline was a problem. Now it's not. I'm curious to see if the game plan, if he can carry it, the game plan of the strategy and the new way of training. That's what I'm curious about. But the weight, it just takes a good kick in the butt for you to drop 30 pounds.
Yeah, I don't know if Eddie Reynoso is the right guy strategically. I talked to Eddie Reynoso about his experience with Andy Ruiz, and he said it's been great, but he admitted that training Ruiz, a heavyweight, is going to be his biggest challenge. Because you can think about it, Reynoso has had his success with Canelo Alvarez, a super middleweight and down, with Ryan Garcia, a lightweight, with Oscar Valdez, a 130-pounder. He has not had the high level of success with a heavyweight. So I'm curious to see if what Reynoso brings to the table, the head movement, some of the strategic stuff, if it works with Andy Ruiz. Because we've seen trainer-fighter pairings fail in the past. Freddie Roach has failed with different guys. Emmanuel Stewart has failed with different guys. So it's not always guaranteed. So I think that's one of the biggest questions. We know that Eddie Reynoso and Team Canelo have got Andy Ruiz in terrific shape. We don't know if Reynoso has added anything that's going to make Andy Ruiz better.
You know, whenever a lazy fighter starts getting worked out really hard, and he's around other fighters that work out really hard, it really brings out the competitiveness in them. And once they see that it's working, they see their body molding and changing and getting muscular and faster, they're eager to improve inside the ring as well, and they're eager to please their trainer on everything they learned. So I just think it's a self-belief thing when it comes to fighters. It's not really the trainer or the chemistry they have in between them. It's the fighter kicking himself in the butt saying, okay, look, I'm gonna do everything you're teaching me, but not because you're teaching me, because I wanna do it and I wanna shine. It's a little two-way thing there, but it's always up to the character of the fighter.